Alright, so let me show you real quick how I'm setting up for Lab 2, the Thermistor Lab. So I have some solid copper wire, 22 gauge. This one's blue. I bought it at McGuckin. I go ahead and I strip the end of the wire just by a little bit. Depends on how deep your breadboard is. I think this should be plenty. Twist it around and pull. Alright, so I got one end off. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut my wire on the other end. Make it as long as you need it to be. And then strip a little bit at the other end. Make sure that the number in your wire stripper matches the number, the gauge of your wires. So 22, you can see it right there, or 20. Twist a little bit as you bite, and then pull the wire casing off. Done. Now you have a wire connector that you can attach to your breadboard in however way is needed. So you would basically take your little wire connection that you made, bend it at the ends, and then connect it as needed by inserting it into the slot. So say that I want to put it from here to here, and there you go. You just push it in and they're going to be connected. Great. Alright, so let me show you my circuitry. Over here we have our 82. The first red line is coming from the V plus channel. This one is the red one. Alright, and I added some stickers to help out as well. So here I have it connected to the same kind of little wire connector that I just created. I put it on the first channel of my breadboard. Let's connect it. Put it in here and stick it in. Cool. Alright, so some breadboard basics. You're going to see there are going to be two power supply and ground channels on the outsides. These actually come apart if you have to. Remove them from your breadboard. And then on the inside you have a bunch of little connections. So we're supplying our voltage to this line. This voltage supply line, as indicated by the red line, is connected vertically through all of the channels. So that means that every one of these little holes is connected to my voltage supply. So if I need any power, I know I can draw from any of these lines. To make things a little bit clearer and more organized, I decided to pull my power from all the way at the other end. So I have a little red connector that I made, just the right length to connect my power in to my first channel here. So these channels in the middle of the breadboard are different from the ones on the corners. They don't have these line indicators. That means that they're connected horizontally. So that means that number 1 is connected here, number 2 is connected here, number 3, so on and so forth. So that means that right now my power is feeding into this little hole here on channel E. So this is where I put in my thermistor. So here's my NTC thermistor. Just looks like a huge, very long piece of wire with a little beaded epoxied end, and that's where actually the thermistor is located. The rest is just wire. Alright, so I ended up putting a rubber band to hold my thermistor in because the gauge, the wire thickness of my thermistor is pretty thin. So if I didn't add something to hold it in place, it kept coming off of my breadboard. So what I did was just put a little rubber band over it to hold it in place. But my thermistor wire, and it had to be stripped a little bit using the wire stripper, is just sticking into that hole right there. And it's quite long, so it goes all the way in. Probably it's inside, running through that channel a little bit, and that's fine. Alright, so my circuit goes power in, coming in, going through the thermistor first, so it's jumping from here to here, and now the power is going through this channel over here. This channel is connected to two other things. First we have our scope probe, plus 1 plus, connected again to a little piece of wire that I cut. You can see it right there. Let's plug it back in. Alright. So here is our scope probe connector that's in between my two resistors. The first one is the thermistor. The second one is a fixed resistor that's over here. So the resistor came to me looking like this with a long wire. All I did was snap off the excess wire, and then I bent it and I attached it to my breadboard. So my resistor is now connected from channel 5 over here all the way to channel 9. I just randomly chose one that worked well with my length. Oh, number 10, yeah. Okay, so we have power in coming through to the thermistor, then a little bit gets drawn out to the scope probe through the voltage divider. The rest of it is going to go through our fixed resistor, the blue one. And then from the fixed resistor and here in channel 10, it's going to go all the way out to my ground. So I decided to put my ground at the very other end of my breadboard, just the way that I was supplying power on this side. I decided to pull my ground on the other side. So I'm using the blue channel here on the other side of the breadboard, and here are all my grounds. I just connected them all together using this little terminal pin over here. So we have the -1 channel from the scope probe, the negative voltage supply that we're not using, it's just going to ground, and here's my actual ground. Don't forget to connect it, otherwise it won't be grounded. Your system's only grounded if you connect it to the ground wire of the 82, and here it is. And the black line connects to the little, here it is, the little arrow symbol on the 82. There you go. So just to review it one more time, power comes in, goes through to the thermistor in one side, out the other, and then we go to our scope probe, the other fixed resistor, and then to ground. That's it.